So I hate to say it, but this thing is going right back to Apple. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, B-Mac. And yes, unfortunately, judging by the title of this video, I have to make a return at Apple. I have to go and return this iPad Pro. For those of you who are subscribed to this channel, hopefully with notifications turned on, you guys probably saw my iPad 2018 unboxing video. And in that video, I explained how I caved and ended up actually getting the 2018 11-inch 64 gig space gray iPad Pro. And I thought it was going to be worth the investment. I thought it was going to be a perfect fit for my needs. But there is one major problem I noticed with the new iPad Pro right off the bat that is going to prompt me to have to go and return this thing. And I know what you're thinking, it has nothing to do with the bend gate situations or the little bit of curvature action we have that you've seen in the clickable videos on YouTube. It has nothing to do with that. For me, actually, what it all comes down to is an issue of storage space. I had mentioned in my unboxing video of the 2018 iPad Pro how I thought the 64 gig model was going to be okay. I thought 64 gigs was going to be sufficient enough because for me, this iPad Pro is a very cloud-based setup, meaning pretty much anything that I could store in the cloud and not have physically stored on this device, I'm doing so. All my photos, songs, videos, literally anything, you name it. If I could store it in the cloud, I'm doing so on this iPad. But the problem is in doing so, only a few weeks into actually using the iPad Pro, I'm already utilizing 70% of the storage space available. 70%, just like a couple weeks in. That's a problem. And since this is my new iPad Pro, I was kind of on the fence of getting it in the first place. I'm like, I don't really know if I'm gonna use it. I'll just use my iPhone XS Max, I'll use my MacBook Pro. But the more I use this, the more I'm using it and the more I'm loving it. And with that additional usage comes doing more on the actual iPad itself, which consequently, yes, results in a little bit more storage space being used. And so I quickly realized that $150 difference between the 64 gig and the 256 gig model it's probably gonna be worth it. I mean, going from 64 gigs to 256 gigs, this day and age, that will make a substantial difference. Even though I do think in the future, everything will be cloud-based. I mean, we probably won't even have storage space options because we'll just pick plans for cloud storage, kind of like how we do now, but on a much more mainstream level. Even though I think that's in the future, it's a lifestyle that apparently just isn't quite ready to be lived right now. And because we're getting that full version of Photoshop on the iPad, which will result in multi-gigabyte project files on the iPad right there, more storage space in that alone. All that adds up to me unfortunately saying, yes, I have to go return my 64 gig iPad Pro to Apple. Which hurts me in a way because this is my first iPad ever. I instantly fell in love with it. I'm using it on a daily basis more than I ever thought I would. But I gotta go return this thing and keep my upgraded 256 gig model with this nice little keyboard case that we have right here, with the B-Mac logo right on the front. And I gotta admit, ever since upgrading to the 256 gig model of the 2018 iPad Pro, I feel a lot better. Everything's the same, the color's the same, the size is the same, I kept my Apple Pencil, but basically, I just upgraded that storage. Simply because of the fact that I need it and will need it. It would have been terrible to be in a position where I still have the 64 gig model and be in a position where I'm maxing out the space, can no longer return the iPad past the return window and being stuck with that model. I mean, I didn't buy a pro level product, an iPad Pro, just to be limited by what I can do because of the storage space limitation. So in a way, I was wrong. I thought the 64 gig model was gonna be enough for my needs. Clearly wasn't, needed to upgrade that baby to 256. And now I'm in a position where I went from utilizing 70% of the space within 2 weeks on the 64 gig model to using like 15% on the 256 gig model. I mean, we're talking 3/4 space already used and like 1/8 spaced, already used, from the 64 gig to the 256 gig. So I wanted to make a video about this because ultimately the decision you need to make when it comes to storage is going to come down to your own personal preferences, your own needs, how you're going to use the iPad Pro yourself. But I will say, even with a tech dude like me trying to have a completely cloud-based setup on the new iPad Pro, 64 gigs still wasn't enough to cover the local files that need to be on your iPad physically. So if you can swing an extra $150 to upgrade from the 64 gig to the 256 gig model of the 2018 iPad Pro, I highly suggest you seriously consider doing so. Even if it's just for peace of mind. Like I said, you don't want to be in a position where you're limited by what you can do because you're already maxing out the storage space on something like the 64 gig model. And if you're already spending close to $1,000 on a device like this anyway, the additional $150 is a little insurance policy against maxing out your storage. Probably isn't such a bad idea. So yes, I returned the iPad Pro for a new iPad Pro. The only thing that changed was the storage space. But what do you guys think? Do you guys have the new 2018 iPad Pro? If you do, which storage option did you get? Do you have the 64? Are you running out of space? Do you have the 256 and think you're okay? Or did you max out at 1 terabyte? Leave a comment in the comment section below, letting me know which iPad and which iPad storage option you chose. That way we could all help each other out in deciding what iPad Pro is the best one for us. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please don't forget to smash that thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe with notifications turned on so you never miss another video on this channel. We upload videos like this to this channel each and every week, several times per week. Boom. I'm still getting used to this whole Apple Pencil iPad thing, but I will see you in my next video. I'm gonna go practice.